You walk into the festive gathering, and at first glance, everything looks perfect. The tunes are upbeat, the drinks are chilling in the bucket, and everyone is laughing at a shared joke. But you immediately feel as though the air has been sucked out of the room. You look over the buffet spread at your cousin and her husband, and you don't simply see a smiling couple. You detect the piercing, icy silence of a huge argument they had on the ride there. You try to shake it off, maybe pick up a treat, but the atmosphere feels heavy, thick with a resentment that nobody else seems to notice. You murmur to a friend that the vibe feels oddly strained, and she stares at you with that familiar mix of confusion and pity, telling you to stop overthinking things and just have fun. But here is the truth you need to digest right now. You aren't analyzing too much. You are simply feeling the invisible architecture of the space. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who traveled deeper into the human psyche than maybe any other person in history, devoted his career to studying people exactly like us. He understood that for specific individuals, and if you identify as an empath, this is your everyday life, awareness doesn't stop at the skin. Carl Jung noted that this ability to see beyond the curtain isn't the shiny, effortless superpower that Hollywood movies try to sell us. Actually, he argued that it can be a crushing psychological burden if you don't learn how to carry it properly. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most self-help teachers leave out. The danger isn't just the bad vibes you gather. The real threat is what that constant intake of emotional information does to your identity. It forces you to live in a condition of constant dual sight. You see the polite nod, but you feel the hidden judgment. You have probably felt this divide since you were a little kid, haven't you? It seems like everyone else is listening to the radio show while you can see the sound waves. Carl Jung described an idea known as participation mystique. It is an academic way of saying that the wall between you and them has collapsed. For the average person, that boundary is a rock castle. But for us intuitives, that boundary is a screen door, and there is a storm outside. You don't just watch the anxiety of the woman standing next to you in the supermarket line, you absorb it into your own chest. You turn into a sponge in a world full of spilled ink, soaking up stains that you never made. And brace yourself for the hard part. Jung warned that this sight acts like a muscle. The more often you use it, even unintentionally, the stronger it gets. You aren't going to suddenly grow out of being sensitive. In fact, as you get older, you may find your patience for phony behavior drops to nothing. Remember the last time your best friend introduced you to her attractive new boyfriend. On paper, he was flawless. Good job, nice shoes, polite to the waiter. Yet, the moment he shook your hand, your stomach dropped. You had no proof, you didn't have a history check, you just knew with total certainty that he wasn't the man he claimed to be. You saw the cracks in the mask before he even took off his coat. But because you couldn't explain it through a chart or a screenshot, your friend dismissed you. She probably called you jealous or cynical, or said that you were being too dramatic. Carl Jung recognized that this is the battle of the intuitive woman. You are playing 3D chess while everyone else is sliding checker discs. You see the checkmate coming 10 moves earlier. You spot the breakup, the betrayal, or the business failure ages before it happens in the physical world. But because the crash hasn't happened yet, you are treated like a pessimist. And the darkest part, when you are finally proven right, and we both know you usually are, no one gives you a trophy. In fact, people often resent you for understanding the reality before they were ready to face it. This creates a specific kind of loneliness. It isn't that you are socially alone, it's that you are inhabiting a different frequency of existence. It's like being the only sober person at a chaotic party. You are watching everyone else drift around, thinking they are dancing beautifully, while you are the only one spotting the vase about to shatter on the ground. Carl Jung himself lost his relationship with Sigmund Freud because of a dynamic very similar to this. Jung detected patterns, spiritual, collective, mythological designs that Freud refused to admit. Freud wanted to stay in the cellar of personal psychology, while Carl Jung was already up on the balcony mapping the stars. So, how does this land in your body? Because for sensitive people, it always lands in the flesh. You know the cost isn't just mental, it is physical. Jung commented that when the mind sees too much, the nervous system takes the hit. It shows up as that abrupt wave of complete exhaustion that hits you 20 minutes into a networking event. It often appears as a headache right after you hang up on that one friend who uses you as her free therapist. Your internal engine is running a long-distance race while your physical form is resting on the couch. You are processing gigabytes of emotional data while everyone else is handling a few kilobytes. But there is a deeper level here, one that Carl Jung was famously obsessed with: synchronicity. Do you ever have those moments that make you wonder if life is really a computer program? You are thinking about a specific friend you haven't seen in 3 years, and suddenly your phone lights up with a text from her. You dream about a certain place, and the next day you see it on a postcard. To the regular guy, that is a weird coincidence. To you, that is just a normal Tuesday. Carl Jung believed these weren't mishaps. He considered them proof that the line between your inner world and the outer world is much thinner than we are told.
Yet, this openness is dangerous if you aren't careful. If you don't have a strong sense of identity, what Carl Jung called a solid ego-self axis, you can get swept away. You can start to mistake what belongs to you for what belongs to the group. You could be riding the metro, feeling totally fine, and all of a sudden a wave of sadness hits you so hard you want to weep. You ask yourself, why am I so blue? But you aren't unhappy. The woman sitting 3 feet away is devastated, and you are accidentally carrying her baggage. Society, broadly speaking, isn't a fan of women who see the truth. Group dynamics rely on a certain level of mutual illusion to work. We all agree to pretend that everything is fine. When you, the empath, step in and quietly confirm that everything is not fine, you become a threat to the status quo. You don't even have to say a word. Folks can feel that you see them. It triggers their shadow, the parts of themselves they are trying desperately to hide. So, what is the cure? Carl Jung didn't propose stop watching. He didn't say toughen up. His answer was individuation. This means becoming a complete person who can handle the tension of opposites. It involves building a container strong enough to hold the burning nature of reality without melting. Carl Jung had to do this himself. When he was going through his own intense battle with the unconscious, he didn't retreat. He anchored his realizations in the material world. He chopped wood. He cooked meals. He literally constructed a rock tower with his own bare hands. For you, as a contemporary sensitive woman, this is a crucial lesson. You cannot live entirely in the sky. You must touch the ground. You need rituals that drag you back into your own body. Maybe for you, that means lifting heavy iron at the fitness center. Perhaps it implies serious gardening, sinking your hands into the soil. Possibly it's pounding sourdough dough until your arms ache. You need a physical way to tell your nervous system, this is me, that is them. You also have to admit that you are something of a pioneer. Carl Jung believed that human awareness is growing, and people like you are the scouts. You are out on the edge, seeing the landscape before the rest of the herd gets there. It is a high-risk job, and honestly, it doesn't pay well in the short term. But it is vital for the survival of our species. So please stop apologizing for your gut feelings. Stop trying to describe the shades of color to people who are committed to seeing the world in black and white. Your mission isn't to make them see. Your mission is to keep your own sight sharp without burning out. You are not damaged because you feel everything. You are simply tuned in to the channel that the future is broadcasting on. The load is heavy for sure, but the fact that you can carry it, that is evidence of a strength you haven't even started to realize. Keep watching. The world needs women who see what is truly there.